Welcome to Koi Keepers Anonymous, the show for koi addicts, pond nerds, and anyone who said they'd stop buying fish but didn't. I'm Ty, and with me today is Mickey,
Hello.
Devin,
Hi.
and Woody.
Hello.
And Devin, there's something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was just thinking before we get this meeting started, I think we should uh, just reflect on like how I'm grateful that we're able to come together and do this. So I just wanted to gather together for a moment of subscribe.
Like, comment, hopefully share, and hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Ty.
No, that was good. What this show is, we've kind of been figuring it out as we go. But it's kind of taken on two main forms. One, our kind of question format, where we find the questions people ask the internet about koi and ponds and do our best to answer them. And two, putting people in the hot seat, which we did with Woody not too long ago. But I think it's Devin's turn to be in the hot seat.
I'm not sure. Is it?
Is it?
Devin, it is your turn to be in the hot seat.
All right.
So, how did you get started with koi? I know it had to do with your family.
Yeah. So my dad always had aquariums like when we were really young. We would just be mesmerized by the fish in the aquariums. You just stand in front of it watching it all day. They would like use that as our babysitter essentially. My mom got like one of those half whiskey barrels, and I think she put some water lilies and goldfish in it. And one Mother's Day, my dad brought home a backhoe and dug like an actual pond, like koi pond for my mom. And that pond was probably 2,000 gallons or so. We spent all those resources building that pond for the fish. We decided there's got to be something bigger and better than goldfish. So we found that there's koi. I think I was around 12 years old at this time and like just fell like completely in love with the fish. So we started like scouring every tropical fish store. We were having such difficulty finding places to purchase like imported Japanese koi in the Minneapolis St. Paul area. We figured we can't be the only ones that are looking for this. So why not turn this into like it's a business opportunity? Let's and it was right about the time I was graduating middle school and going into high school. So we decided to do homeschooling. And as part of that, we figured, why not like start a business? So my older brother and I decided, let's import koi. Like we have so much fun with the fish. Let's do that. So we built all these holding tanks that were filtered. And then together with our dad, when I was 15, we went to Japan for the first time to buy koi. And that was with Kaz Tegeda.
So, okay, here's my question. How did this come about with you getting an apprenticeship? Like how
Yeah.
did that all
Yeah.
culminate and happen?
So it happened on my second trip to Japan. 2003 was the first year we went. 2004, there was a big earthquake and kind of really decimated the koi industry in that
Yeah.
area. So then in 2005, ended up going. And while I was there, Marudo noticed, like, wow, that's a young person that's really into koi. And they asked, hey, would you like to come work at our farm and really like learn about koi and how to like do this and learn about the industry? And I was like, oh, absolutely. That sounds amazing. They're like, cool. When can you start? And I was like, well, is there like a age requirement? And they said, yeah, you should probably be like 18 when you come over here, just for legal reasons. you know,
And how old were you?
I thought I was 15, and maybe
You were
the first time I went when I was 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I knew I wasn't old enough yet, and they were surprised because like they see white people and they think we look much older than we are. And so they're like, all right, we got to wait like a couple of years. But it worked out then because then it gave me the opportunity to like study the language prior to moving over and
Yeah.
getting like a driver's license and all that.
Basically, you got invited.
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
yeah. Long story short, I was invited
Mhm.
because they have like a tradition in Japan of like sending their children to a different farm to learn the craft. So that way you're not basically like trying to teach your own family how to do things. And I think it's funny because like the way they look at it is like you're too soft on your own kids. But like in the US, I think the mindset would be opposite. Like you'd be too hard on your own kids or you wouldn't get along. So you wouldn't be able to like teach them and they wouldn't be able to learn from you.
Listen,
But either way, it's a great way to go out, see how it's done differently in other places to then bring back and incorporate into your own business.
What I find the most interesting about that though is that most places they would not who would want their competitor to learn all their secrets? It's not something that's done because you're essentially opening everything up to somebody who can use it against you or take the best things that you have and duplicate it
Because
elsewhere.
it's not something that's just they're inviting, like say myself as a dealer that's going to be like a customer for them. They're also inviting their competitors, like other breeders'
Other breeders' sons,
to
yeah.
come in and learn this stuff.
For example, like I mean, Marudo himself, he was trained at Dainichi, and his dad was a hobbyist, but he's not the only one. I think Omosako's son, Takayoshi,
worked at Dainichi.
Ryu from Izumiya and Teru from
Teru from
Marusaka, they
Osaka.
both trained at
Ogata.
Ogata.
Like business culture in Japan is so much different than like Western businesses practice.
And they open everything up and they teach you because you're not just training there, you're living in that farm for however long they allow you to live there.
It seems like a great way for them to, build community, help each other out, but also to keep themselves accountable. Like if they're a good farm, it's because they're doing good work and they're not going to rest on their laurels or try to hide their secrets. Like,
Yeah. It is very unique that way. They all actually work together.
what was it about Marudo specifically that was that just the only one that made an offer? And if so, why do you think? I mean, were you spending more time at Marudo, or did you go to every farm and there was just a connection there?
Yeah, I don't know. There was nothing special, I'd say. It's not like we're a huge customer of Marudo's or anything like that. I think Marudo is just very like has a good like mind for business and like thought like, I learned under Dainichi. I should carry this tradition on. It might be something good, just like share. Why keep it to just Japanese people only? Let's open this up to the world. Because I'm not the only foreigner that's like worked there, but I'm the only one that's did like as much time there.
Yeah, I think you're the one who's done the most amount of time. Most of the people who do end up like training there are only there for a few months. But Devin is unique because he was so young. So and also because he was homeschooled, he had the opportunity to expand his
I wasn't tied down to like any school or
work,
like a marriage, relationship,
exactly
anything like that. I was young and free.
Exactly.
Free to perform free
because
manual
people
labor.
Yes, exactly. Also, because of most people who do get into it are already older. Even if it's a foreigner, they have work obligations or a family that they need, so they can only stay there for a month. But you got very lucky.
Yeah, I would consider luck has a huge role in it. It's not like I did anything special to get asked to do it or anything like that.
I think what you did special was that you behaved yourself enough to be asked to stay.
I was very conscientious of the culture, being respectful of it.
Well, and you also speak with like a certain accent unique to that region now, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually.
I want us to go back in time really quick, okay? The clocks in the house and the cat is flying around us and spinning, right? The lights are purple.
Right. That's awesome.
And like day one, you're
bam,
fresh off the plane in Japan, just got to the koi farm. What was the first week there like?
I mean, everything is different and everything is new. So it was so much to take in. Work-wise, like I went over the first time in September, so it was like right in the middle of when they're harvesting all the tosai ponds. And then getting all of the indoor ponds for the like 2-year-olds and larger fish ready to bring them in. So it was like scrubbing tank walls of algae and repainting them. And
is that the busiest time, like the most manual labor intensive time of the year?
No, it's all manual labor. No, I'd say like harvest season is the busiest in terms of like really long hours because you're getting up really early in the morning to harvest the ponds and then handling customers coming in to buy them until the sun goes down and even beyond sundown. And then at night going out and entertaining those customers as
Yeah,
well.
that's true.
So it's some crazy long hours.
What was that first summer like? The very first one.
How I thought it would have been done, just it was so different. Just some of the stuff like we're doing, it didn't even make sense. Like, how does this help? Like in the fry ponds. So later I learned, like a lot of like plankton or stuff like that settles in the mud on the ground. And so if you stir it up into the water column, it's like a good source of food for the fish. So in the summer, every day, we take this metal bar that was probably 4 feet long with like a bunch of chains tied to the back of it, like streaming off about a foot, that had a rope on it. And we, hold the rope and walk around the perimeter of the pond in the water, just stirring it up. And I was thinking, what are we even doing? Like, it doesn't even make any sense at all. Like, are they messing with me? So that whole first summer was just kind of learning everything. And then, also at the time, like when I'd first moved there, I had been studying the language, but I was nowhere near like fluent or anything like that. Because you get taught very formally, but you get there and everybody speaks informally. So it took a long time, probably, I don't know, like 6 months to a year to figure out what everybody's saying, and then an additional time to be able to then totally respond back. So that first year, you're just kind of listening and being told what to do and wondering, what are we even doing? And then the next year, I can ask why we're doing this.
When he was asked to apprentice over there, they didn't think that it was necessary to get all the paperwork because there is no special let's apprentice at a koi farm to learn about Japanese culture. There's one for ikebana, there's one for bonsai karate, I think, maybe.
Yeah, there's stuff for karate, like a cultural studies visa.
Yes,
it's
from the Japanese government.
In the bonsai world, it's very common to get a cultural studies visa to go work at like one of the bonsai nurseries and learn the whole process of how you make bonsai. But there's nothing like that for koi.
So he would just go there, and I think there was a temporary 3-month visa because you're.
Yeah, I was just going in and out on tourist visas.
On tourist visa, because you weren't getting paid for this.
No. And this was back before Japan had even like digitized all their customs and immigration stuff. So like nowadays, when you travel international, like there's fingerprint scanners, they take your photo, all this kind of stuff. There was none of that.
Yeah, so he would just go in, spend right before the 3-month visa is up, he would go to Korea for like a couple of days and then come back, go to America like for a little mini vacation to spend time with his family and go back after 3 months. And so it was just like that for
just in and out. Just keep renewing like a tourist visa.
Yeah, exactly.
Until they upgraded their systems and started taking fingerprints and photographing. And then I and a lot of other people in the koi industry got caught. They switched it to you're only allowed on a tourist visa 6 months out of the year in the country. And then you have to be 6 months out of the country. So
that's not going to work.
Luckily, I got like detained in the airport and they asked me what I'm doing there. And I said, oh, I got a girlfriend. But they're like, yeah, sure. So like, can you give us a phone number to call? So I give him Marudo's phone number to call.
You did not say you had a girl.
I did it first. Or it wasn't good enough reason, whatever.
Oh my God.
They called Marudo. And man, that felt like the longest. I don't know how long that phone conversation was, but I felt like I was sitting there for hours. I'm just like sweating, like, oh man, I'm going to get deported. This is going to suck. This is going to be on my record. So finally, the guy comes back and he says, you're very lucky. We're going to let you in this time. But next time, don't come back until you've been out of the country for 6 months or you have the proper paperwork. So I was like, oh, shoot. So right away, Marudo got to work. They actually hired 2 different immigration lawyers. The first one, they weren't happy with what they're doing. They found a second one down in Tokyo. And they created a whole new category for cultural studies visas for the study of koi. Yes. So I was the first person, like when I went to the embassy in Chicago to get my visa put in my passport, the guy reading it came with like this letter written in Japanese. I had no idea what it said. He's like, wow, this is the first time this visa is ever being granted. This is
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So you must have made a good impression on Marudo for him to go through the trouble.
Yeah, I hope so.
Also, Marudo must have had some good clout even before that first initial conversation.
Yeah.
Marudo
got
had
me
some
back
game on
through.
the phone there.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it also helps that he was actually just like studying. You weren't being paid.
Yeah,
There
it's
was
not like I was
no
working or anything
exactly.
Mm.
So they were a lot more lenient.
like that. And
Yeah.
too, like they had just changed the system and how it works, so they
Mhm.
probably had like a little bit of leeway, like
Mhm.
at their
But you were
discretion.
scared.
Yeah, I was scared.
You went home for like 6 months after that while they were getting.
Yeah, while I got the paperwork.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Mhm.
No, you're talking about the different koi farms. They'll send their kids to work at other farms and stuff. So while you're at Marudo, there were kids, other people's children, I should say, who were also working there at the same time as you, right?
Marudo had a couple. They had a guy from Holland working at his place for a few months. There was a guy from South Africa worked there. I think he was there for a month. What else? Who was there?
Sure.
I know. No, Shohei was right after I left. Shohei
Oh,
came in.
right in the transitional
Yeah,
thing.
like another kid from a farm down in Fukuoka. He started working for Marudo like right when I kind of like left at that time. So we didn't really overlap. But that kid actually then came and worked for me in Minnesota he was with us about 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like they were teasing him actually about, hey, you should ask Devin if you can work for him
Yeah.
in Minnesota. Maybe you can learn English. And then they're all laughing. And then like I think the next day he went
Next
up
day
to
he's
you
like-
and we were already married at this
Yeah.
point. He went up to you and he's all like, hey, did you mean that? I mean, can I really come and work?
And I was like, yeah, of course. That would be awesome.
Yeah, he came over and it was awesome because he was helping Devin. That was about the
Yeah.
time he started the mud pond, so it was really nice. He didn't have to teach him what to do.
Oh no, yeah, it was great. It was like having a clone of myself. It was so efficient. Like the work got done so smooth and so fast.
What was impressive though was Shohei came to study English, right? And every night we would sit at the dinner table like you would at Marudo,
Mm-hmm.
and we would just try to converse.
Yeah.
It was amazing because at first it was slow, and then towards the end of his stay,
Yeah.
we didn't have to slow down for him. He understood what we were saying. Now I'm thinking about it. Was there any other Japanese people that was apprenticing at Marudo? Because I feel like there were a lot of foreigners.
It was mostly foreigners at Marudo, but like I know while I was up in Niigata, Ryu was down at Ogata
Mm-hmm.
doing his internship there. Like we actually met when he came back on like a break in the winter. We met at a ski resort.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know Terazo's daughter Yuki and also Nogami's son Chikara, they were both in Oregon at English school
Mm-hmm.
learning English.
Yeah. But at
But-
Marudo, anybody else?
No, it was all like foreigners.
It's all
at Marudo,
foreigners,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
But also only like a few months stay.
So when you go on your trips to Japan to go buy fish, you're not just going to buy fish in a way. I mean, that's the reason you're going, but it sounds like you're also going to like catch up with all of your friends at the different koi farms and things.
That's interesting though, because I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Like a few of my friends have visited me here in the United States. And then I look at Devin, it's like, what about you? Where are your childhood friends? And then I realize that all of his friends we see all the time. It's
all
in Japan.
people in Japan. And sometimes it's hard to even like look at the fish because you just get stuck talking. And then before you know it, the sun's down and you're like, oh, you didn't even look at your fish.
Which of the Japanese people in the koi industry would you consider your best friends?
We're closest to. I don't
Mhm.
know if they would say the same about us.
Yeah.
But I think Issa-san,
Yeah, Issa, Marudo, and
definitely Marudo, yes.
Marasaka, and
And then Izumiya, Kanno also.
Kanno. A lot of those guys, like every winter, we'd go skiing every weekend together because it's like what everyone did. Like Kanno was like ski patrol, and Teru and Ryu are both like Like,
Really
if not for
good.
koi, they'd probably be professional skiers.
Which ones are those? Teru and Ryu are
Izumiya and Marusaka.
It's interesting though because everybody knows Niigata as a place for koi, but there's a lot of things that make Niigata famous.
Oh, it's
They
super
make
famous for rice,
very famous
especially in
for
Japan.
rice, and because Japanese wine comes from rice, they are very famous for their sake too. Because there's a lot of snow, they're very famous for their ski resorts. So in the winter, when the farms were slower, nowadays it doesn't feel like they ever get slow. But
Mhm.
before they would have like some slow time, a lot of the younger people would do like some part-time work at the ski resorts because they get really busy.
Yeah, that or also work on the snowplow crew.
What? You could go shop for koi and then go skiing on the same trip?
Yeah. It sounds
Yeah,
like he's had
I
ideas
did that
now.
with my dad once. We actually went to Nagano where they had the Winter Olympics, I believe in what was it 1988 or something like that in the 80s.
so Ryu is Izumiya, Teru is Marusaka, and are those ones? Are they close to your age?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like the youngest, but like the closest to me would be like Kanno. He's like a couple months older than me,
And
and then like Ryu is I think a year older than me, and Teru's I think 3 or 4 years older than me.
hmm But we're all about the same age.
Yeah.
But before them, you mentioned Issa and Marudo, and I feel like they might be older.
Yeah.
They're yeah, a little bit. Marudo for obvious reasons. I mean, in that situation, it's
Well, like
family.
yeah, like Marudo right now, like the youngest Takuto is like he's
Like
probably like 10 years younger than me, something like that. Maybe more.
I guess the young blood right now at Marudo Koi Farm is the grandson. So and they make quite a good team, the father son team.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
They
they
work
work very well
very well
together.
together.
But then there's Issa, who it's funny because he's not the same age, but it feels like he is.
Mm-hmm. It's very
Yeah,
young spirited.
exactly. And we have really good conversations together.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about
No, he's
koi.
also just like an animal lover in general. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I've really enjoyed about watching the YouTube videos you guys make when you go over there. And I'm sure they take a lot more time because, you're putting the subtitles and everything because Devin's just you guys are just talking in Japanese the whole time. But I got more insight watching those videos than I have, I think, I should say more in-depth insight than I have watching a lot of other content. So it's pretty cool that you guys took the time to create those.
Oh, it's
I'm
awesome.
a big fan of those videos.
Oh, thank you. We like doing them. It is difficult because the conversations we have are a little bit like, I don't know, a little bit scattered everywhere, but we did get very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the stuff like when we are interviewing Kanno about like the how you don't have to worry about the sashi on Goshiki because the sumi will just cover it. Like, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
There was
As he's filming this set, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Can't believe I didn't think of that.
It's actually one of those things
Uh,
I'm like, don't tell people. I
Yep.
don't want other people to know.
I know, right? Should have like bleeped that part and be like, yeah, if you want to hear what was said, to subscribe to our Patreon or something.
But also, I don't like Kano is unique because he's the type of person that he looks at something and he tries to like understand it. That's why he can like say something clearly. But like for example, if you interview most of the breeders, a lot of it is just like something that they see organically. They know it, but to put it into words is a different exercise all on its own.
Anybody like in their profession or their craft, when they're really good at it, things just become like
Nature.
baseline, I think. And so you forget to mention the little like unique aspects that really stand out because to you, it's just, of course, that's how it is. But to most people that are like getting into it or don't know that yet, when you point that out, it really kind of like opens doors for them.
Yeah, that's true.
I met Kano. I have 3 Kano fish, and I showed him a couple of pictures of a couple of the fish, and he said, "Oh yes, yes, the parents are huge." since you have access to him like that, I'm super curious if you could ever find out, like maybe get pictures of the parents, or I'm just curious about all the bloodlines. It's like you really get very little information about that other than, Dainichi has some famous names. You get like
Mhm.
Mona Lisa and Super Monster, but most of the other farms, well, I think Sakai, you get some of that too, but I don't see that information coming out very much.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a lot of the smaller farms. Like when you look at farms like Sakai and Dainichi, that's a huge operation.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the staff that can like document all their parent fish and like produce a amazing glossy booklet to show you what fish were bred with what fish that year. But for the average farm, like for the most part, they're documenting what they're breeding with what, but it's probably just something in a notebook, and maybe they have photos of it,
I
and
think
it's definitely not probably like synced up with their notebook. But
I wonder if over time they'll start, modernizing that and, you know, and
Yeah, so I think those are three different like processes. Do they document most farms do document those oyagoi. They do keep track of which oyagoi is producing what fish because they need to. Putting it all together in a place that is accessible is another activity that requires a separate effort. And then after that, releasing that documentation to the public is another effort. So Sakai, again, big farm, they're able to document it really well. They're able to archive it, put it all together, and they make an amazing book every single. Is it every year? I think it's
I
every
believe
year,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Where they show you all of their oyagoi and which paired with what, and yeah, that is it's a system that not many farms. There's a lot of farms in Japan. There's like in especially in Niigata. So some of the farms are large, but there are a lot of little farms. So they just need somebody to create that system for them. But once they need to implement it, I think they could do that. But I think that raises a something that is interesting. Why they even asked you way back when to work at Marudo is they're always looking for young people. They're always looking for young blood,
Mhm.
like fresh insight, like in renewed vigor because it would be nice to see every farm and see who the parents are, but to be able to do that you can't be a tired old breeder who doesn't even want to like stay in the pond anymore because your fingers are all like wrinkly or I don't know. um that's why they're always looking for young people in to get into it.
Yeah,
And
I think the real thing would be just somebody makes that service that then could go in and offer that to the farms and produce it.
Devin, I'm trying to not let everybody know because we're going to do that.
Oh, okay.
so I heard that Kinshoa is one Showa parent and one platinum parent.
Sounds like it's possible. I don't know for sure. In in my mind, I would think now Kinshoa, as it's become more refined, they're probably breeding Kinshoa to Kinshoa. But to begin with, it would make sense that they would have done platinum to Showa.
I think that is generally the process, right? They breed two different varieties together, and once they get that kind of like
Stabilized a little bit,
stable, and they get
look
the
that they're looking for.
exactly,
Then
then
they
they just
breed those together.
mhm.
Yeah, further refine it.
But they are always experimenting.
Yeah,
Like every time we go there, they'll show us, "Oh, I'm trying this and this, and I want to try to make this."
there's such like a push to like develop new varieties. So each farm is kind of trying something interesting and different.
But the success rate of breeding a new variety is really low
Really do.
because it's very difficult.
It's
Yeah.
like those
Yeah.
golden corns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember not this year, but last year, I think Izumiya had a Sumi Buki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really seen much of that since that one batch.
I think because he has like a couple that he's holding on to just to see what happens as they get bigger. So that's another issue with when you breed these things. You got to wait like 5, 6 years to figure out what's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a quick process.
How has the koi changed in terms of like development
Mhm.
from the time you left Japan as an apprentice to today? Like how has it developed?
I think there's a bigger focus on quality over quantity. So the farms are being like more strict with what they keep.
Mm-hmm.
In general, the quality of fish has improved for sure since my apprenticeship.
I feel like the quality of fish has improved, but that's always happening. Like
Yeah,
if we look at the grand champions of All Japan Show from back then until today, the first grand champion of the All Japan Koi Show was a Deutz
okay,
Danke,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And what was it, like, not so big either.
hmm
So what makes like your observation different?
You know, I can't give you a for sure answer on that, to be honest. Just based off my experience, like you said, the fish have always improved and
Mm-hmm.
continued to improve. There is like this rush or this like desire to create more varieties, but because the other varieties are so established, the level of like refinement is so much greater now, I feel, with the fish. I mean, that's not to say there still isn't, not great fish out there. It's, you never know. It's a living thing, and it's subjective to the care it's being given
Of course,
in
yes.
terms of how it develops or whether it develops or not. They're able to create better examples compared to like when I was there.
This might be tangentially related. My perception is that more things are appreciated that are maybe sort of oddballish. Like, I heard that like Yuki Asagi used to be like those were all called now. People are buying those. Also like things like the Aragoki thing, which is falls under maybe the Deutz umbrella, but they still have regular Deutz, but they also have.
It's interesting though, you say with the Aragoke, I think that is definitely a situation where the market has demanded it, but also they're refining it. They continue to refine it. With the Yuki Asagi, that's started coming around. Maybe I was in after I graduated college. It's been a while since it actually started to the Yuki Asagi. And I think they also refined it now.
Yeah, in Japan, I think it was relatively easy to keep them like kind of the pure white. But
Mhm.
anytime you moved it to different locations that had different water conditions, they had a tendency to get dark or like spotty. I feel like with Yuki Asagi, it's probably something the farms worked at refining,
I think so
as
too.
opposed to like Aragoke.
Yeah.
I think the market demanded that, so farms
Are-
previously that might have been something they didn't keep before. Now that's something that like, oh hey, there's a market for this, so we'll
Mhm.
keep it so it can sell.
I think they're also doing this thing where they're trying to find that happy medium where they're keeping it to satisfy the market, but they're also refining it in a way that
Like
make
they're
it.
creating standards.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way of putting it.
You think that we'll see more farms doing the Aragoki? Like, because there's a lot of varieties that I feel like we haven't really seen that on yet.
Japan feels like a world away, but they do listen to their customers. And right now, America is a very strong market and it's a market that they're looking at. So if there are a lot of people who are looking for a specific type, they do listen and they do make more and they will refine what is being asked for. So yeah.
And I think too, something you see because of like say the emergence of the popularity of Aragoke, it then gives them license to try stuff that maybe they like that before that was frowned upon
Mhm.
because that's not the tradition or that's not the standard.
That's a good
But
point.
now they're seeing, well, like this thing kind of worked out, so why don't I like this? I want to try it, and they'll go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That's
think
true.
that's something that's going to be really exciting to watch because you can really, I think they'll get really creative in what they come up with.
On that note, I think we've reached the end of this episode. For people who are listening, we have a website now where you can go and ask your questions. So if you want to ask us questions that we'll bring up here on the show, you can submit them through the website. Mickey, what's the website?
koipodcast.com. So there's a little contact form there. Still very basic, but we still don't know what to say about ourselves. So work in progress. koipodcast.com.
koipodcast.com. I don't think it could have been easier to find us than that. That's great.
I see it. I'm
Exactly.
looking at it now. That's cute.
It is cute,
Got
right?
the links to Spotify, YouTube, and Apple
Apple
there.
Podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they'll know exactly where to find us, how to subscribe to us.
Hopefully.
I was just about to say, where can people find you guys?
We have a storefront in Las Tunas in Temple City. You can visit us. We would love to see you on Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Huh?
9.
9?
11 a.m. to 5 p.m. See? You see
You're
that?
talking East Coast time,
Yes.
right?
We are open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Devin should be here at 9 though, so you can bother him.
No, you can't. I have work to do.
Otherwise, we have a website, demikoi.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and please subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell on YouTube at Demikoi Official. And I believe Ty is also.
Yeah, where can they find Ty?
I have a YouTube channel called The Koi Pit, and I'm just a guy who makes koi fish and pond videos for fun. So you can find me there. I also have an Instagram, but I don't really do a lot with it. Woody, where can people find you? Or do you not want people to find you?
Well, I don't really have any koi related stuff out there. So I'm just a koi hobbyist. So I do have an Instagram that I don't really put any koi stuff on there, but my Instagram is Bonsai Universe.
Bonsai
Everyone
Universe.
should find him and add him as a friend, and he would have the most followers out of the four of us.
Yeah.
But he's so modest. He's like, I'm just a koi hobbyist.
I know, right?
Yeah, he's totally a koi. What is it? Koi growing
Fish, not just koi.
Koi-
Don't limit him,
He's
honey.
what is it?
Fish growing master.
Okay, there we go.
That's right. He is a fish growing master.
Misleading us all.
Exactly.
Devin, you want to sign us off?
Actually, I think Mickey should.
You were just in the hot seat. I think it's fair.
Hey, you want me to do it? I'll do it.
Nah, Mickey can do it.
Okay. Dear koi, grant me the serenity to accept the sumi I cannot change, the courage to choose my koi, and the wisdom to remember to turn off the hose. Amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.